Honestly, if you told someone just like 18 months ago that this is what Tesla was going to be doing with the Model S and X, they probably wouldn't believe you, especially based on this tweet Elon made about how, yeah, we're not really going to refresh the S or X, nothing to look forward to, and it's hard to tell really if Elon was just trying to get people to keep buying the current Model S and X and not think that there was anything coming, or maybe at that time Tesla genuinely didn't think they were going to refresh the S and X. But the more I think about it, the more genius I realize it was for them to release these now, and how it helps them as a business, and also how cool it is for us, the consumer, to get these great features in just a few more weeks. So for one, let me just say that basically in a matter of minutes, Tesla was able to dethrone my dream vehicle, which would have been, if we're not counting the Cybertruck, probably a standard range Model 3 or Y. You know, I don't go on great distances, so I'm just for that 15-inch horizontal display, and I was cool with that. But now that we've seen the 17-inch landscape display, this updated steering wheel, and that little 8-inch display in the back, this updated look with a lower drag coefficient, I have now fallen in love with the Model S and X in a ways that I haven't really since pre-Model 3. Back when the Model 3 came out, I initially thought that was the coolest Tesla ever, and now I'm starting to think that less and less myself. But the main thing I wanted to talk about in today's video is the genius of this launch, because they're still technically using the old-fashioned 18650 battery cells in the Model S and X. They're a traditional cell size. They have better energy density than before and better manufacturing techniques at building these batteries than back when the Model S first launched, but technically the exact same shaped batteries that went into the original Model S are the same batteries going into this Model S and the Model X, and probably leading up to the Plaid Model S launch later in 2021. I bet sales for the S and X were going to kind of flatline because the product itself was not going to be too compelling, especially now with the Model 3 and Model Y getting such new great futuristic features. Model S and X still rocking that dated interior that they've had for nearly a decade. And now, thanks to the rollout of the Trimotor System, both on the S and the X, and these new updated interiors, there's probably going to be a huge influx of people buying S's and X's that weren't anticipating they were going to, and Tesla gets to keep selling that old traditional battery. And I also don't want to get the message across that that old battery cell sucks, okay? It's probably easy for us to assume, 2170 cells are better and 4680 cells are going to be even better than that, so Tesla's just ripping off their consumers by putting in a futuristic modern interior with these dated battery cells, and they just need to kind of clear out old inventory of those batteries. But the truth is, like Elon talked about on the last earnings call, they need as many batteries as possible. They're not going to say no to any of their suppliers, and Tesla's going to build their own batteries because they need as many as possible, okay? So they can't afford to say no to anybody manufacturing batteries, and it's probably tricky when Tesla wants to build their own 4680s and put them in the Plaid Plus Model S, but at the same time, that Plaid Plus Model S is going to make the regular S and X not very compelling. So how do you make them more compelling? Well, you finally give them some love when it comes to the interior. The exterior gets some tweaks as well to make it more consistent with the rest of the lineup. And I must say now, the Tesla lineup, despite this company only having 4 different models to choose from, I know we get caught up with the Cybertruck and the Roadster and the semi-truck sometimes, but to this day, they really only offer 4 variants. I'm not counting the OG Roadster because they don't make it anymore. And yet they have delivered 500,000 vehicles in 2020, and there's a decent chance of them exceeding 1 million vehicles in 2021. I find that pretty incredible, especially with all of the unique perks and benefits of each individual Tesla. And now they found a way to make use of these 18650 cells that they've been using for so many years and find a way to put them in a product that is still compelling. And the reason I don't want to criticize or act like the 18650s are bad is those cells are still powering the longest range EV on the road today, okay? So just because the Model 3 and Y may have 2170s and those are better because they're newer and they have better energy density, keep in mind there's only one electric vehicle on the road that you can buy right now that is on city streets as we speak that goes over 400 miles estimated by the EPA per charge, and that is the Model S. And that will probably continue to be the Model S until maybe Lucid Air deliveries begin. But the fact that Tesla wants to roll out this Trimotor System gets me really pumped, because in the past Elon has alluded to the idea that they want to collect some data and get some real-world experience with the Trimotor System by implementing it on the S and X first, and then in time they will use that data and use everything they've learned from mass producing it to apply it to then the Trimotor Cybertruck as well as the Tesla Roadster with its SpaceX package. So this to me is evident that Tesla is ready for this Trimotor System system to hit city streets. I cannot wait to see those 0 to 60 time videos. They're going to be incredible, and I'm also very grateful that the Model X is getting it as well. It would have been pretty easy for Tesla to just kind of gloss over the Model X and act like it doesn't care, but they did give it that, so you can do 0 to 16 in 2.5 seconds and still be sitting 7 people. Quickest SUV in the world. And while the exterior tweaks of the Model S may not feel that major, they did allow for some pretty major improvements in aerodynamics, which allow for even better range than before, and of course that allows the car to move a lot faster and gracefully through the air. I think now that we're seeing this Plaid rollout happen in a matter of weeks, there's a decent chance Tesla is going to start building the Trimotor Cybertruck first and then work their way down to the dual motor, and then if they decide to even keep it around, the single motor. But now that we know the Trimotor system is in place, they're mass producing it, I think this was a complete genius way of keeping use of their current battery supply chains and still making cars that were rocking some older type batteries very, very compelling, and probably we're going to see better S and X sales this year than we've seen in many years before. I'm super pumped to check it out myself, and I know we've talked about it a lot lately, but I just simply have a ton of thoughts on it, so that's why I keep going here. But if you have other subjects you want to see me cover, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.